You mentioned that Ghana was on
Hmm.
your radar. What is
Oh
it
yeah.
about Ghana? Because I know a lot of people's eyes turn to Ghana when it comes to
Hmm.
repatriation. What is it about Ghana that draws you there?
I mean, that was honestly, I feel the most connected to Ghana, and that's a personal thing for me. It was like, it's something that,
Oh,
like
I
without
know.
words. Yeah. And so, but it does feel, it feels easier. Um, like I just feel at ease, more at ease. And I do feel more connected, to that part of Africa. And I've been to every corner pretty much of Africa, but I don't know, it's something I can't really explain. Like I do feel some type of connection to other places that I've been, like Kenya I also feel a strong connection to. But I don't know, it's something about Ghana,
It's
and
something
we
about
already
Ghana.
started, yeah, we've already started like kind of investing in it. We helping build
Yeah,
a school up there, and you
that's
know,
good.
yeah, looking at like what, because like I said, I've been several times. I just took my little cousin, this for the
Yeah,
year
I
of
remember
return.
seeing that.
Yeah, I took my little cousin, and and so it's like every time I go, I'm making more and more connections. Like now when I go there, it's like I got people who will actually look out for me. People
Yeah,
that's like, oh, you can come stay, come stay over here, and
yeah.
and so it feels really like the most like home to me right now, and things that I want to do. As far as like with business and stuff, I've already started figuring out like, how to do those things. So I don't know.
So
I've pretty much settled on that part
you
right
pretty
now.
much settled on Ghana. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ghana is home for me, baby.
Yes. Yes.
I can't I don't see a problem with going and investigating and even trying other places, but Ghana
Hmm.
will always be my base in
Right.
Africa. You're in Qatar now, right?
Hmm.
How did you end up in Qatar?
Well, my hubby is here, so
Oh,
yeah. But I mean, this is because we were like long distance for some years, and so it
mhm.
was like, let's go on and close this gap up real quick.
Oh,
But
girl, I know how. That's
yeah.
so important. It is so
Girl.
important. When I was in Conakry, me and my husband, it was distance for 4 months. So I was just like, we got to figure
Yeah,
something out because this is
right.
not how you maintain a union, honey.
Yeah, it
Like
gets hard. It gets
it's
hard. But we
so
were living in different countries on different continents for 3 years. Well, for more a little more than three years. And
jeez.
so yeah, and so but we would meet up, we would always travel somewhere, like meet in the middle, or he'll come to me or I go to him, like,
Yeah,
every month pretty much
yeah.
see. But yeah, I mean, yeah, that got a little
So what does
crazy.
your timeline? What does you guys' timeline look like for Ghana?
Well, I don't know yet. We're just trying to figure that out now.
Yeah,
Hopefully in the not so distant future.
yeah,
Um, Even if I got to go there first, and just kind of set it up. I don't know.
yeah.
Um,
I feel you.
yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm open to it like ASAP, but we just have to figure other things out.
Yeah.
Um,
What would you advise um, our people here who are looking to move to the continent? What would you advise them, like the how to go about going ahead and doing it, or what process they should take?
I mean, if you can, visit first. If you can, I know when it comes to like money and stuff, but you don't put yourself in a position where you can't get back or you can't, do anything. Don't make it like your absolute last move.
Right.
But um, because that's the last thing you want to do anywhere, at any point. You don't want to be stranded somewhere. But I think first, I think it's more mental and emotional. Than it is the physical move. Like, because I think, like I said, you can always, just like you can set up in America. If we've been living in America all this time, you can go somewhere else and set up, especially when we're looking at the currency. a lot of places, but that's why I said not for me, not Kenya, because I end up spending too much money when I'm there, and I'm like, I ain't trying to be like, I ain't gonna move from Atlanta to New York or nothing.
Exactly.
So be realistic with like, just think about the lifestyle that you want. Think about, things like that, different interests, the climate, right?
Mhm.
The types of scenery where you're close to. Because I also like to be in a place where it's easy for me to travel other places in the world, you
Right.
know. So, I always think about what things interest me. And I would say for other people to definitely, as far as the mindset, like I said, kind of try to get rid of that like American mindset. Don't try to go expecting everywhere you go to be like America. Because like
Right.
I see you probably experienced it too with other people, like other like American expats or anywhere else, just kind of like, oh, they don't do this. Ah, they don't
Yeah.
have that. Ah, they don't, you
Absolutely.
know what I mean? Like if you just go there and you're able to adapt, and figure like you would grow more appreciation much
Mhm.
faster and not be frustrated and like ready to go, you know what I mean, getting homesick and stuff like
Yeah.
that. If you
Yeah.
just go there, like be mentally prepare yourself. I like to say that I think we need like a rites of passage process almost when we go, moving from America, from anywhere in the diaspora back to Africa, because and that's something I plan on doing like with my, we're
That's a
working up
really
a
good idea.
travel, yeah, a little, to take some of our children to a different country in Africa every year. But that's one of the main focuses for me is to let's kind of deprogram,
Yeah.
like from this American
We
mentality.
have to unlearn and then teach like some the real, because at
Serious.
the end of the day we are um a lot of us are completely indoctrinated into this
Oh
society.
yeah.
That's not of our fault,
Yeah,
but it is our responsibility to do something about it. So
absolutely.
regardless to whether it's the our political views, our religious views, our whatever, it is our responsibility to do something about the indoctrination that we have undergone for the last 400 years.
I completely agree. I completely agree with that. Like,
So
and that's the thing. Like, when it comes to anything, though, we, because I think it would be easy to feel like targeted or to feel like, take things really personally.
yeah,
Especially when you're in a new environment and you don't know these people, it will be easy for them, for some people to target you for certain things. So you will start to feel
absolutely.
like attacked, right? And so if you just kind of get your get your mind out of like I don't know. I feel like it's
Basically you
sometimes,
saying like get your mind right.
yeah, you
Got to get our
gotta
mind right,
basically get
and
your mind right.
because it's like I totally get what you're saying, because it's like if you go into the situation, like for instance when I first moved to Ghana, um Ghanaians talk really loud.
Hmm.
So, and they talk not aggressive as Nigerians, but they still talk aggressive. So
Right.
a lot of times I would think that people are about to fight
Right.
and they're really just having a conversation. So it took me just kind of just chilling and watching the situation, because being from here, we always on ready to, like, we know something might pop off at any
For
second.
a reason too, right? Like it's
Exactly.
for a reason. It's
Exactly.
yes.
So it took some time. It actually took me almost a year to get to a
Yeah.
place where I wasn't, where the police lights didn't bother me, and
Yeah.
the loud talking didn't make me feel like, oh shit, something about to pop off.
Yeah.
It took
Yeah.
me a while, and I think I kept having to remind myself, you're not in America. You're not in America. And even when it came to the pace of things,
Mm-hmm.
um, would you
They
say
gon'
that the pace is the same in like Ethiopia or Egypt? Like it's kind of
Girl,
slow.
all over. I don't care where you go, anywhere on the continent, we are dealing with CP time. I'm telling you, this was in the dirt. Like, this is in the soil that made us, okay? Because it's like, I'm telling you, you cannot, that is very, like, European.
Yeah,
That's the European influence in us.
yeah.
That's, gonna have us thinking that everything's gonna be right on time when they say it is.
And I
Because
think
I'm
this,
telling you, every corner of Africa I've
yeah,
been, it's like
it's the
it's,
same thing, right? They say the party started at 3 and it
I'm
started
telling you,
10.
yeah. But
But
I'm like, look, if you used to going to family functions and stuff, you'll be all right. They say the
exactly,
barbecue gonna
exactly.
start at a certain time, it don't. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it's the same thing there.
And I think I find that a lot of people, their frustrations come from expecting things to move at the pace that they move here. Like
Hmm.
I know even my husband being Ghanaian, he was kind, he's used to things being, but after being here for a while and getting used to things like going in the bank and then being in there for like 5 minutes and coming out, or 10
Yeah,
minutes and coming out, and then going back to Ghana and being in the bank for like an hour
yeah,
or 2 hours, he's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like
right,
I didn't know that this wasn't what everybody do. Like this is too much. But then,
right.
he's learned over time to just have to, you basically readjust his mind in flight. Like, okay, I'm headed to Ghana. Ain't nothing gonna go the way I wanted to go. It's not gonna
Right.
move fast, but it'll still be all right. Like
Yes.
it'll
But
eventually
that's
it'll
the
get,
main thing. Yeah, I think
yeah,
that's the main thing though. Is like, just knowing it's still gonna be all right. You know what I mean? Like, you can figure it out. I think the most challenging part is mental. It's always gonna be the
it's always
mental.
the
I think
mental.
yeah, and even stuff like I was talking about before, like observations from like the year of return, something I already noticed before, but that like during that time, so many of us being there at that time, it was very easy to see like certain things with, like you were just talking about with people with their loud voices, just talking loud and it sounds more aggressive and stuff, right? And
Yeah.
it sound like you're trying to fight. But it's things like personal space. And this is why I try to tell
Yes.
my family, like family and friends in the States, that's like, even if they don't even plan on traveling or moving anywhere, I'm like, you have to understand when you're encountering different cultures. Now that I'm a world traveler and I've been around other cultures, not just, African people, but Indians and
Yeah.
Southeast Asian, personal space is not a thing outside of America. And
Don't
for real,
I
it is
know.
not
I know.
they
Girl,
gonna be right up on you, okay?
you be in the store, they right there. You like, hey,
You gotta,
plastic
exactly. You
bag.
just gotta adjust. And the thing is, what I try to tell people is that, to be aware of things like that, but be aware of your response. Like you were talking about, it's your responsibility. Do you
Yes,
want to be riled up every time somebody on your neck?
exactly.
I just had to train myself. Like, even when it came to staring, because they will stare you up and down, but it don't mean the same thing as somebody staring you up and
Exactly.
down in America. So like,
Exactly.
if I feel uncomfortable, even if I felt like, okay, well, that stare feel a little different. That stare does feel a little judgy or whatever. I just stare right back at them. You know what I
Right.
mean? Not aggressively, but I will just, to let you know, I would like in my own way, without like, learning. You have to observe and like learn their behaviors, their cultures, and and just the understanding of things. And so, just in a not a very aggressive way, I can stare back. I can just like look back at them, like, give me space. You know what I mean? But I'm not gonna sit up, man, you're gonna get me. No, if you don't get my, like, what is the point of
Right.
all this?
What is
You
the point?
already, you're
But
gonna work yourself up. You're gonna
you
make
gonna work
yourself
yourself
frustrated,
up,
and you're really gonna, piss other people off, because why you're gonna be the one that's looking crazy.
looking
You're gonna be
crazy.
the one standing out, right? So
Yeah.
just adjust,
Yeah.
adjust
It's
your mind
true.
and know that everything is not all about you. But that's what I was talking about. Like, that's the main thing about the American influence that I feel we have on us, is thinking that everything is about us. I think it's
Yeah.
very, like, everything is centered on you. Everything that somebody else does is about you. It's a reaction to you, or you know what I mean. And it's not. You just got to
Exactly.
move on with your life. You know,
Exactly.
get out of
You
that
know,
mindset that
I
everything is
I try to tell people that common sense is coming to the place that you're in. So I've been in Ghana and mistakenly tried to give somebody something with my left hand. It's common
mm-hmm.
sense in Ghana that you don't hand somebody something with your
Exactly.
left hand. But that wasn't common sense for me.
Right.
So it took me, and it's still sometimes I have to catch myself when it
Right.
comes to um using my left hand to even pick up stuff, because
Right.
it's a right hand dominant society, and you
Yep.
and most African countries are, and
It
you
really
don't,
is. Hmm.
somebody will think you're trying to insult them because you used your left hand, when in all
Right.
actuality you had no idea. Most
Right.
of the time people will give you some kind of concession because they know you're a foreigner. But
Right.
my 2-year old is
It's
slurping.
fine. It's fine. That's so true though.
Yeah,
That's really true because it's it was the same exact thing in Ethiopia, and like when because you eat with your hands a lot of
yeah,
times, and so just learning that, like you said, handing somebody something, and it's the same thing even like in India and like a lot of other places that I've been. It's the same idea, but like you said, they will give you like some grace for not understanding because they know you're not a part of this culture. We
exactly.
have to understand the same thing. Like you have to, do that in reverse also. Have people understand, like be understanding of other people not knowing what you're used to. But that's why I think when it comes to us, especially trying to, being African, but outside of Africa, but trying to, going back to Africa, we need to not try to you know, just really enforce our way of life on other people. Remember that you are going there. You are to adapt and adjust to their culture, right?
Exactly.
Don't Most of the time they won't get frustrated with you. Like I know I've done it several. I'm very forgetful too sometimes. So
Yeah,
like
me
I
too.
do. You just told me, and I pick up some with my left hand. Like like I do
Exactly,
that a
me
lot,
too.
right?
Me too.
So
Like,
it's like they know that you don't mean it. Like I always have a friend that's like a local friend that well, I always tend to make friends with like a Uber driver or a taxi driver or something. And I stick with them, and they
right.
they'll
Yeah, I
be
do
the
the
ones
same
help me with the
thing.
language, with shopping, with
Hmm.
everything. And so it's a friend now. And I just told him, I was like, just stay on me. Like I want to learn it quick. So
Yeah.
whenever I do something, like just remind me. So every time I even lifted my left hand, he would just look at me and I was like, okay, I got it, I got it. So it's like it's different things. You can adjust yourself. Like you said again, it's your responsibility. So
Right.
if you need to relearn something, because that's the thing, it's hard. It's not the easiest thing to readjust a lot of these things about us, right? Like we don't even think about
You
picking
don't
up or
even think
putting
about
down
it.
or eating stuff with our left or right hand. Like it's not even it's a
And we
no-brainer.
just
We
eat
do
with
stuff
both
with
hands,
both.
and
Yeah, it doesn't mean anything,
it doesn't mean
right? But
anything to us.
right, but I mean, for them, you have to understand and it helps for us to learn the reasons why.
Learn the reasons
Don't
why.
be upset, but learn the reasons why. Like, because what I learned was that the left hand was the hand that you wiped yourself
That you
with.
wipe your
And
butt
so
with.
it makes sense that I don't want to eat with my
It
left
makes
hand,
sense.
or I don't
And
want to
it
give
makes
somebody the
sense.
boo boo hand. Right?
Exactly. And it makes sense that don't nobody want you putting your boo-boo hand in their
Exactly,
plate.
exactly. That is the main thing. So it's like if you learn, it would make it easier. They don't expect you to just know, but you
Yeah.
have to also ask sometimes if it's not offered to you. But
Right.
but that's just a part of that, like I said, like that learning experience, that learning curve. Like when you're going to a different place, you always want to be like when you go to somebody's house, you be like, I always ask, I don't know about anybody else, but I'll be like, should I take my shoes off? Because I
Right.
don't know the
Right. I
culture
do
of your
too.
house.
I do
It's
too.
the same, it's the same idea. So I don't think it's the most difficult thing for us to adjust when it comes to moving. But like I said, it's I think it's more comfortable for us because we can kind of blend in, like, at least,
Right.
by us being African people. Some of them won't consider us actually African, but,
Right.
our do you want to be? Because they accept me as African, like wherever I'm at, and I let them know. But that's the thing, you have to let them know,
Exactly.
your intentions. You're not there to be the American in Africa.
Yeah.
You are an African person, right? And you
Right.
going to
An
Africa.
African person who happened to be born in America, and
Exactly.
and if you, I feel like if you decided that you're gonna make this kind of journey, you need to
Hmm.
be open to everything that comes with it, and
Yeah.
including your privilege.
Hmm.
You have to understand that many times they're not gonna know that you're not from there until you start talking.
Hmm.
But
Right.
as soon as
Right.
you open your mouth, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Right.
So now
You'll see that. You'll feel that privilege a
yeah,
little
you'll
bit.
start to feel the difference. But like my sister Myra, she was telling me when she was in Morocco, how in Morocco they treated other continentals different than they treated her, and
Hmm.
she didn't like it. It made her uncomfortable. And
Right.
but I think it kind of gives us, it kind of gave me a insight into what you were saying, like this privilege that comes with being an American that we don't get to experience here. But then as you're
Hmm.
abroad, it's like, oh, you're an American. I've
Exactly.
had people when I was in Conakry, I got a consultation position because I was an American.
Hmm.
Um, it's, I was trying to tell someone else, if you look, you can get a lot of jobs in West Africa just because you are an American.
Right.
And
High school diploma. Or you can
exactly,
even fudge it. They ain't about to check your documents
exactly, they
either.
ain't checking that. So at the end of the day, I think that like you said, we just have to try to get the American ish out of our mind and
Yeah.
try to at least be adaptive,
Right.
because regardless of what we want to believe, most of the things that we do in America other people don't do.
Yeah.
It's an American thing. And
Hmm.
because even like some of my European friends who come from who are like Black Europeans, when they come here, it's just like these are American things. Like so many things are just strictly American, but we feel like, oh, as Americans, everybody is doing. We feel like this is the world, and it's not. Like
Exactly.
the world is very much different.
That's the thing though. That's the exact thing about it, is like, because we're thinking about it. When you think of American culture, when you think of like the arrogance, when we look at people, when we think of people who have privilege in America, right? Think of the people, get the picture in your mind of who you see as
Yeah,
privileged in America, right? It
yeah,
ain't us usually,
yeah,
right? And so when we go out and, like, to speak to the situation you said with your sister, noticing how, like, even in those other places, how they treat other continent, how they treat continental Africans versus you as an African person but from America, it is very different. But it's very different. But that's why I wanted to point out of, like, having that privilege but not abusing it. Because never, I always, oh my goodness, I always try to stress to people, like, you will experience this privilege from being an American, right? When as soon as
absolutely,
your mouth open, or if you got your tattoos and your hair look different, you know what I mean? They're gonna be able to know that you're something else. And
exactly,
so, like, my experience, like in Egypt, for example, that's what I saw. Like, most of the, like, the housemaids and stuff like that, the nannies, even here in Qatar, like, it's a lot of Africans, right? And I hate seeing it. I really hate seeing
yeah,
it. But because we are, if you know about, well, I'm sure you're familiar with how a lot of them end up, getting over to these
right,
parts. When it comes to the Arab world, because the Arab slave trade happened before the European slave
yeah,
trade,
a good bit,
so
yeah,
the relation, yeah. So with the Arab culture, they can be a little,
yeah,
so the treatment was very different, but I used my privilege for good to speak up for those who couldn't speak for themselves,
Absolutely.
right? They were used to being mistreated, but I will make sure if I got the privilege, I'm gonna check you on that. You don't
Exactly.
talk to her like that. Don't
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
so we can't don't go over there and be like, oh well, they ain't talking to me, because then you will be
Exactly.
no better than the folks
You ain't
that
no
you're trying
better.
to get away from.
Exactly.
You know. So we imagine you. Do you want to be that arrogant, privileged person that we know of in America that you want to get away from? You don't want to become that person. So don't go there. Don't go to another place, and seeing other people who are being treated, less than, and do nothing about it. And I'm not saying like put yourself in other people's business. I'm just
Right.
saying don't be one of the ones that's contributing to it, or like, don't you go over there, even if it's a part of the culture, to treat a certain kind of, other person
Exactly.
is different. Don't you be a part of that, so
Exactly.
don't abuse the privilege, but be aware of it. Just be aware of your privilege that you will have.
Exactly. So with this new with this next resurgence, because it seems like every couple of years we see another wave of people like, okay, I'm out of here. Okay, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
It's especially those of us who've been doing this for a while, we kind of see
Hmm.
it happen over and over again. You mentioned the year of return in Ghana. Now we're at the portion of beyond the year of return. Um,
Hmm.
what would you say to those who are like I'm ready to be about this piece.
Yeah.
What I need to do to go. Like what
Right.
I
The
gotta do.
next step. Yeah. I actually see a lot of places are opening up for, where the conversations at least are more frequent about giving us dual citizenship and things like that, right? So like even
Mhm.
in Ghana, like when I was there during that time, they actually gave a lot of you know, Africans in the diaspora, gave them citizenship there. Now, so I've been looking into that, and it didn't seem like the easiest thing, right? It was like other things
It's
that,
gonna get better.
yeah, that's what I'm saying though. It's a slower process, but they're seeing, because it's a serious conversation, right? We're
Yeah,
talking
it
about,
really is.
we're really pushing the issue with reparations and,
Yeah. We just
with
gotta
the citizenship. Exactly. Keep applying that pressure, because that's the thing. That's really what it's coming down to. And but I think they are more understanding of just our situation, especially the world is looking at what's
oh
going
yeah.
on with us in America, right? So I think it is going to be something that'll be a lot easier for us to repatriate. So I think you should definitely look into like what the regulations and stuff are for the country. So I lived in, like, I've done it, like, just the, like, on the fly, just picked up, like I said with Ethiopia, I just picked up and left, right? And so they have a process where you can, I was on a tourist visa, so I had to just extend my visa, or like take a trip, outside, cross the border and come back. It's different ways that you can do it. You don't want to be, if you, especially if you got children and stuff, you want to really pay attention to
Yeah.
and follow the
Follow the
guidelines and
laws.
stuff. Yeah, follow the laws. Like I was just there, I didn't know how long I was gonna stay, so it was
Mhm.
like I was traveling, and I ended up that's where I was at the majority of the time, right? Like I would just go and extend my visa or something like that. And then, eventually I got a little work visa or whatever. But I I would recommend you just look at the guidelines. But again, if you want to just test the waters, at least just go over there and see like what it's like. And sometimes they'll give you like a 3 month or 6 month visa or something like that,
Right.
right? Yeah. So I mean, follow. You want to be legal, right? You want to follow the
Yeah.
guidelines
We do
and just
want to
figure
do
out what
that.
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna keep you much longer. Is there anything else that you feel like we have to know about um relocating or repatriating to Africa?
um, something that we to know, something that you know. Um, I think I pretty much just
I think
points that I said before. I mean, that was pretty much it. It's about your mental and spiritual, emotional journey, right? Even above the physical move, because the physical move is the easiest part,
it's the easiest.
honestly. I would say don't be afraid to, right? Again, if you've survived in America all this time, it's not impossible.
You
You
can
know,
pretty much survive anywhere, right?
yes, you can. America is ghetto, okay? If you
Very
didn't know, America
ghetto.
is very ghetto.
It's so ghetto.
but I mean, yeah, that's the thing though, is that you can survive anywhere if you survived in America. We are very resourceful. I would say find a network. It's 2020. We got all these social media um accounts and stuff like that. Like I always make it a point, even when I'm traveling somewhere, to just try to connect, at least try to figure out, okay, I literally a Facebook search, black people in Cairo,
Right.
you know what I mean? Black expats and so and so, like it's
Yeah.
always going to be somebody to connect to, because it might be certain products or foods and, different things that other
Right.
people know. Like I said, knowing what you're used to, knowing people who can relate to your frustrations and kind of give you the next steps, because I learned so much just by making friends with people, who had basically done the same thing. And so at this point, we're all over the world.
Yeah.
It's some
We
of us
are.
in every single country,
We
pretty
are.
much every
No
single
Madness
country.
pretty
So
has
you're gonna
pretty
find
much
us.
has proved that. Like
Yeah.
sometimes I look at No Madness and somebody
Exactly.
will put in, I'm in Bhutan. Is anybody
Right.
here? And then somebody be like,
Exactly.
yeah, I'm here. I'm like,
Yep. Like living,
what?
right? Living and thriving. Yep. That's literally what I do. That's what I always started out doing, was like, let me go back to No Madness. Let me just type, I'm about to be in so and so in a few
Yep.
hours. Who there? Who want to get lunch? Who want to, and that's how a lot of people met me when I was
Yeah,
living in
that's how me and you
actually
got
that's how I
connected.
met my husband. He was
Oh
actually traveling.
wow.
Yeah, he was traveling. I was already living there, and he came. A mutual friend from No Madness was like, "Oh, you should meet up with my homegirl. She's there." And so that's how we met. And
Wow.
you never know. You
You
can
just
meet the love
never
of
know. You never know. Thank you
your
so much for taking this
life. Of
time. I
course.
know we have a big time difference between us. If the
Yeah.
audience doesn't know, it's 7 hours difference between us. So
Yeah.
it took a little finagling for us to do this, but we did. Thank you so much,
Yes.
sis. I really appreciate you taking the time out to speak to us.